For the Unit 5 final project. The first thing that I do want to point out is that this is due Monday, June 8th at 8:30 a.m. So you are turning it in through Jupyter. However, I will just point out that if you're having any issues submitting on Jupyter, you can email it to me at my school email, which is right here. But we'll go over the rubric in a moment. I sent you this message on Friday at 1:54 p.m. and that's Friday, May 29th that I sent this to you. You have the Padlet link, and I'm recommending that this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, May 30th and May 31st, that you start to think about the project. So number one, I'm saying start to think about how you want to answer the framing question. How revolutionary was the French Revolution? And two, also look through the list under the column how you can produce your work and pick out how you want to make this project. The mini lesson video will be uploaded later tonight, and later this weekend, Ms. Rodgers and I will have some examples uploaded for you. Again, the final project is due Monday, June 8th at 8:30 a.m. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or need any help. So I've included this little clip from John Green. You watched earlier parts of it, but John Green sort of gives his take on how revolutionary he thinks that the French Revolution was. So I thought that this would maybe be like a good example if you wanted to make a video. We're going to get into how you can produce your work in a moment, but I also think that it'd be really beneficial for students to listen to this to remember some important parts of the French Revolution. To point out very carefully and clearly, you're answering this question of how revolutionary was the French Revolution. We're going to jump from here over to here. It says, think about the goals of the revolutionaries. You are evaluating if the revolutionary goals were implemented/met at the end of the French Revolution. And then I've included this list of goals, which was also included in Friday, May 29th's lesson, 5.16. So review these goals, and if you need to, I have also included the Padlets that relate to the French Revolution. So, use these to your advantage and to your benefit. Go back to 5.11, 5.12, 5.13. Remember what really led to the French Revolution, what their goals were. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen. Those were the goals of the revolutionaries. So some are spelled out very clearly here, but review your work. Let's look at the rubric together. So it's on a 3-point scale. We're all aiming to be in this part of the grading scale. You need to have a very clear claim, which right here I have some suggestions. You need to use at least 3 pieces of evidence to support your claim. And they need to be clear and accurate, specific. And you have organized your evidence, that you use a piece of evidence, you explain it, how it supports your claim, and then you move on to another piece of evidence. Depending on how you make your project, you will somehow include graphics. Choose nice pictures that depict whatever it is that you're showing. Your finished project looks nice. You've clearly taken time. It doesn't look rushed. You didn't do it last minute. You have some sort of title. And again, you have a variety of ways that you're going to produce the work, so be clever with your title. And you have clearly identified yourself with your name, cohort, and date. Again, I want to point out that when it's due, you're turning it on Jupyter, but if you're having any issues, send it to me at my DOE email. And then I want to also point out this little calendar that Ms. Rodgers and I have created. So on Monday, you are submitting your claim and how you're going to produce your work to this pod on Jupyter. On Tuesday, you're going to submit your 3 pieces of evidence. So pick out the specific evidence that you're using and submit it. You're doing a lot of work at the start of the week, so then the rest of the week you can be creative with your work. And you're going to submit that on Jupyter. Wednesday, we'll have our Teams check-in where students are going to show up and students are going to be the ones who are talking and sharing their ideas. And Ms. Rogers and I will be able to give you feedback. Thursday, you are not required to submit anything. This is a working day. Of course, if you have questions, you can reach out. Friday, we will do another check-in. Then you have the weekend, and then your work is due on Monday, June 8th by 8:30 a.m. Submit it on Jupyter, or if you're having issues, to my DOE email. These are sentence starters, or I should say idea starters. Depending on how you produce your work, you're going to be writing, or maybe you're going to be talking, or maybe a variety of the two. So you need to make this very clear that the French Revolution was revolutionary because, or the French Revolution was not revolutionary because. After because, you're going to have your 3 pieces of evidence nicely organized and analyzed. Okay, so now we get to how you can produce your work. You could do a series of newscasts where you film yourself like you're telling the news. You could do a 3 to 5 minute instructional video with pictures. Just like I'm doing this mini lesson, you could do something very similar where you're recording your screen and pointing stuff out, or you're filming yourself. You could do a Google Slides or a PowerPoint presentation. We all have access to both of these with our DOE emails. You could do a poem and include pictures and illustrations. Of course, writing a poem, you're gonna need to write something that is substantial so that you can have your claim, evidence. You could do a series of social media posts, which I'm going to show you an example of this later on this weekend. If you want to and you have the supplies at home and you can print pictures, you could make a poster. You could create a timeline where you have your claim and then you go through a timeline with evidence where you're explaining whether or not it was revolutionary or it wasn't. You could create a Padlet. We all have student Padlet accounts, and you could do something like this. You could write an interview with people from the French Revolution. As long as you're getting to answering this question of how revolutionary was the French Revolution and you're using your evidence, you could take on the role of a revolutionary and write journal or diary entries. Or you could also take on the role of writing a newspaper article. So I'm just going to say that examples of creating a Padlet, creating an instructional video, you could actually even create a poster with words and pictures using Padlet. But you can get creative here. We want you to go the more creative route rather than writing an essay. We have also included here the breakdown of the next week. And please be on the lookout for our examples and don't hesitate to reach out, and we will be pushing you to accomplish this this project, and I look forward to seeing your work. Have a great weekend.